play. You guys have seen it? You guys seen it? Well, I have never seen it, but it is on Jennifer and Kendall's bucket list. But you'll never realize how much fun I had this past week looking up those videos. I think I acted it out in my office a few times and tried to memorize parts of that song, and it's really catchy. So, Ladies and Shallow Stream, for me, she'd be singing it, I'd be singing it, and it just really kind of, it really caught on with me. I loved it, the whole song. I remember when High School Musical came out. In fact, there's been some kind of resurgence of High School Musical in my house. For the last 3 days in a row, we've been watching High School Musical. I don't know if there was a day that they just ran it all day, but my beautiful daughter recorded it, and we watched it every day since it aired. So I remember how popular that musical was when it first came out. I guess musicals like that, Grease was another musical that was really popular, and now you have this Wicked that is also popular. And the name Galdina, I don't know if that's right, is that correct? Who is it? Glenda. Oh, it's Glenda? It sounds like Galdina in the video. Hey, Mark, we turn the lights up. Maybe I didn't see this. Okay, I meant Glenda. Oh, there it is, Glenda, yes. Glenda. And she's taking on Elpha. I'm just shortening it because I really couldn't pronounce her name. She's taking on Elpha as this project, because nobody knows popular like Glenda does. And so she takes on Elpha and says, you know what? I'm gonna make you popular. And I'm gonna do you over. And her basis on this whole making her popular is kind of based on what Glenda seems or sees popular as. So she looks at her own life. And so tonight we're gonna talk about how people are always chasing popularity. And you guys have some sheets. Can we get the lights? Is there any more lights? Can you guys see your sheets with your pens? Is that all we got? Okay, you guys can see? That's fine. Great. So, as you know, we've been talking over the course of the last couple weeks, and we'll continue talking about things that people are chasing. We've talked about happiness. We've talked about money. And tonight we're going to talk about popularity. I think that every single person has this desire to chase in them, and I don't think that that's always a bad thing. In fact, I think that's something that God has put in us. It's just that He wants us to be chasing Him instead of other things. He put this desire in us to chase after this deeper relationship with Him. And I think that that's a very, very good thing. Without the desire to chase, we would never move from where we are to where we need to be. There would always be this gap there. But you have a desire to become to be in deeper relationship with God. But I think that sometimes, and I'm admitting this is me too, I think that sometimes we have our focus mixed up. The whole point of the series, by the end of it, the main point, if you don't get anything else out of this series, is that whatever it is that you're chasing in life, whatever it is that you're going to be chasing in your future, if it's not God, stop chasing it and start chasing after God. Last week we did something fun. We have started this hashtag chasing after God. Take a picture, put it on your Twitter or your Instagram with the hashtag chasing after God, so that I can go back at the end of the night and see all of your beautiful faces again. That's my favorite thing to do, is to see your beautiful faces. See Chet, look at his smile. Look at Chet's face. I can't wait to see that. Whatever filter you want to put on it, just filter it up, make it look good, and throw it out there. Jeez. And this whole idea of popularity, I know that some of you are probably thinking, well, I don't even want to be popular. I could care less about being popular. Popular doesn't mean anything to me. That's not who I am. That's just not me. But think about it like this. I think that everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to have some friends. Not necessarily You want to be the one that everybody talks about, but everybody wants to be liked. That's true whether you're one of the popular kids at school or whether you're not. You still want to be liked. We're going to go through a series of pictures that I found on the internet of celebrities back when they were in high school. And you're not really going to recognize a whole lot of them, but even these guys wanted to be popular back in the day. Who's the first one, Gibby? Who that is? Who's that? Pharrell. Look at him. He wanted to be popular at one time too. Oh, Pharrell had hair. I didn't have no idea. You know he's like 50? Did you know he's like 50 right now? Yeah. You would never guess. Who's the next one, Gibbs? Who's that? Come on, bro. The girls are like, oh my God, what's that walking? Yeah, well, whatever he's doing with his hair, I guess that was before Twilight or whatever he was in. Okay, what's the next one? Boom, the original OG. What is that jerk curl that he's got? Look at that. Yeah, he does look like a guy out of the shop. That's Ice Cube. For those of you who didn't know, that's what Ice Cube used to look like. Okay, next. Lil Wayne. No.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. That's Jay-Z when he was a little kid. With that same crooked smile. He wanted to be popular at one time. Next. Nicole Boucher. Nicole Boucher, that's a hairdo, isn't it? That's a hair right there. Tom Hanks. That's who that is, Tom Hanks. He wanted to be popular at one time with a hairdo like that. That's awesome. Give me next.
That's Eminem.
Who on the left? Beyonce. She ain't changed much. Who's the one in the middle? Nope. Brad Pitt's the one in the middle. That bowl haircut. I had that when I was a kid. And then Eminem is on the right. Man. He's a whole lot more popular now than he was. We got another one, Gibbs? Wait, okay. You will never get this. No, don't say that. You will never, who said that?
Ryan Seacrest.
It is Ryan Seacrest. That's awesome. That is Ryan Seacrest. Yeah. Ryan Seacrest was begging for popularity back in the day, right there, with that picture. Is that all we got, Gibbs? Is that the last one? It is? Okay. So, for some reason, when we talk about popularity, it always makes me think of that movie, The Mean Girls. Anybody ever seen Mean Girls? It always makes me think that. I think that movie is a perfect kind of like microcosm of the whole popularity issue. So I picked one of my favorite clips from Mean Girls, and we're gonna watch it. How many of you guys have seen that one? Yeah, that movie's fetch, whatever that means. So if you came tonight hoping that I'm going to give you some type of secret on what it takes to be popular, you're going to be completely and horribly disappointed. Because I wasn't popular. I wasn't the popular kid. I was trying to figure out the whole popularity thing in high school. But here's what I want you to do for a moment. I want you to get with a couple of friends right around you, and I want you to come up with a list of about 5 words to describe the popular kids that you know. 5 words to describe the popular kids that you know. Take a moment and do that now. 5 words to describe the popular kids that you know. This should be interesting. 5 words to describe the popular kids that you know. It's okay. It's okay. 5 words that describe the popular kids that you know. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to pass this around. This is our Sammy Marsh support jar. If you have anything to give to Sammy Marsh Fund, please throw it in that jar. Okay, this might be dangerous. This might be dangerous. But what are some of the words that you guys used to describe the popular kids? Don't just shout them out. We'll call on some people. Carter? Obnoxious. Fetch. Hate the nerds. Okay. Not socially awkward. Jerks. Exclusive. Who? Fake. Self-centered. Come on. Shh. Guys, be quiet. What'd you say? Selfish. What? In fashion. Anybody else? Huh? Shh. What'd you say? Negative. Okay, so that was dangerous. So just in case something like that happened, I have a response I want to give you in case those words were negative, because they weren't positive. But also, just in case they were positive, I had those also. I'd just like to tell you that when I was in high school, the popular kids that I would label as popular anyway were extremely nice. They weren't obnoxious. They were nice to me. I just didn't fit in with them. I didn't like the same things. It's not like they made fun of me, but I didn't have many friends because I didn't like the same things that they liked. So I found it interesting that all of your comments were negative about the popular kids. So if the responses are more negative than positive, this is what I want to say. It's strange that some of the kids who are mean and arrogant are the ones that are popular, don't you think? It's just like the movie. It's just like the movie Mean Girls. But even though those kids fall into a popular crowd, they may still just be sad, they may be lonely. There may be something that causes them to act a certain way, something that's deeper than just surface level personality. And I also want to say that maybe if you have nothing but negative thoughts to say about people who you label as popular, because they may label you as a popular kid, you never know. But maybe you just haven't had a great experience with them. Maybe it's just something that you see on the surface level and you don't really know them on a deeper level. I don't know what it is, but I think it's interesting that all of your comments were negative. But here's the thing, when it comes down to it, the chase for popularity, I think, is really just a need to be accepted. In fact, write that down on your sheet. Write down, we all want to be accepted. We all want to be accepted. And I think that's pretty much across the board. I think that's everybody. We all just want to be accepted, whether it's by a whole crowd of people at school, or whether it's by just our inner circle of friends. We all want to be, we have a need to be accepted. No matter where you are in life, in middle school, high school, or even adult like me, we all have this desire to belong to something, to belong to a friend group. I've been meeting with a small group who I call my closest friends for like 8 to 10 years or something. And it was just this sense of belonging that's kept that group going. We belong together. We feel like, we fit in with each other. One of my biggest prayers for this youth group is that we are a place where everyone can fit in. I think that you have an abundance of people around you in life who are always looking to bring you down. Whether you view it that way or not, whether you think the popular kids are making fun of you or trying to drag you down, you always will have people in your life that are trying to pull you down or make you take steps backwards even in who you're trying to become. Every step that you try to take forward, they'll do something to try to pull you backwards 2 steps. That's always going to be there. I want the opposite here for our student ministry. I want our student family to be known to be one of the most welcoming and friendly groups that are out there. I love it when I hear stories like that dude right there, like Jared's stories about how the other kids may not have accepted him in the other churches, but here he felt like he was loved as soon as he came here. And his family now is involved and plugged in because he found a home with our student ministry. And I love that. I love it when people feel comfortable and accepted and loved when they come here. Tonight I want to give you just a few super practical things to learn from that will help you not only be accepted by others, but it'll help you be someone who is more welcoming. And the first one is to be kind. Everyone say be kind. Be kind. Write that down on your paper somewhere too. I think there might be a spot for that. First one is be kind. And I know this thing's pretty easy, but it seems a little opposite maybe of what you've seen in your life and in your friendships and obviously within the popular groups in your school. Sometimes it seems like the mean ones are the one who rise to popularity, am I right? That's kind of what you guys have all said. It's that group who we don't view as kind that are the ones that are rising to popularity. In fact, they didn't even call this movie Kind Girls, did they? They called it Mean Girls. And here's the secret. What is really attractive to others is kindness. If those popular kids that you guys view as popular were kind to you, I bet your whole perspective on them would be different. Because kindness is attractive. I've never heard of someone receive a compliment or be treated kindly by a person and then turn right around and put that person down. Like if I say, Carter, you know what, you really look good today. He's not going to look at me and say, dude, your face, it looks like pizza. He's not just going to turn around and like give me some kind of weird put down if I give him a compliment. It just doesn't happen. In fact, some of the meanest kids in your school can be influenced by your kindness. You see, the more you put people down, the more fear you put into people. Instead of liking, people will fear you instead of liking. And I'll say this, if the people that you are trying to be accepted by are kids who are mean, save yourself the drama. Save the drama for your mama. And just decide that you don't want to be associated with those kind of people. Okay? If the kids that you're trying to be accepted by are the mean kids, then just forget about it. You don't even need that kind of drama in your life. I'm sure you have plenty of drama without that. So don't even worry about that. Kindness, I'm sure you can agree with me, ain't the easiest thing in the world to come up with when you're at school. It's not always easy to be kind. Kindness is tough. Kindness is a choice. It's not always your immediate reaction to things. I have a hard time being kind sometimes. It's not always my first reaction, but it is a choice that I think I have to make. Being kind is, interestingly enough, evidence that God is at work in your life. What is kindness? It's a fruit of what? It's a fruit of the Spirit. So if you're being kind, it's evidence that God is working in your life. It's something that God is producing in your life because it is a fruit of the Spirit. If you have a healthy relationship with God, He produces kindness in you as a result of that. The second one is this: be trustworthy. Everybody say, be trustworthy. Write that down. Be trustworthy. Is that up there? Can you guys? Yeah, be trustworthy. If someone tells you something, be trustworthy with the information that they gave you. And I'm not just talking about gossip, although gossip is not something that any of you should get involved with. Amen? Amen. Gossip is ridiculous. You should not be getting caught up with gossip. But you also, if somebody gives you some information, there's no reason that you should share that information with everybody at your school. That's definitely something that you want to avoid. Being kind and trustworthy aren't like a secret formula to being popular. At least not the way that we typically think of popularity. But believe me, if you're a kind person and you are trustworthy, people will like you and people will want to be around you. Nobody wants to be around a mean person, do they? Nobody wants to be around somebody if they say, something in confidentiality and that person goes and tells everybody. Nobody wants to be around a person like that. So if you're kind and you're trustworthy, I think that you're going to have a whole lot easier time being accepted. Another thing that used to upset me, and I know it's upset some of you guys because I've heard some of your stories about this. Another thing that upset me is when friends ditched me to go hang out with other people. Like, we had made plans together. Like, we were going to do something. And then they got a phone call from somebody more popular than I was. And so they said, yeah, well, you know what? I'm going with this other group. I'm not going with you tonight. Anybody ever had that happen to them? Like, you just got ditched for somebody better? Yeah, I've had that happen to me in my life as well. Well, Jesus told a story about something like that, believe it or not, in the book of Luke. And you guys have it on your card. I'm going to read out the same translation. It's the New Living Translation. It comes from Luke chapter 14. And we're going to start with the 16th verse. It says, Jesus replied with this story. A man prepared a great feast and sent out many invitations. When the banquet was ready, he sent his servant to tell the guests, come, the banquet is ready. But they all began making excuses. One said, I just bought a field and must inspect it. What? What kind of excuse is that? I can't come to your party because I just bought a field and I have to go inspect it. Please excuse me. Another said, I have just bought 5 pairs of oxen and I want to try them out. Please excuse me. Another said, I now have a wife, so I can't come. I get that one. I understand that one. I have a wife now. I just simply can't come. It sounds like a whole lot of excuses that I've heard before. We can come up with excuses for everything, am I right? We can come up with excuses of why we can't do this or why we can't do that because we've got this thing that just came up or I got this going on or this is more important. There's all kinds of excuses that we make. Let me keep reading for a second and we'll see how the master responds. Go to verse 21. It says, the servant returned and told his master what they had said. His master was furious and said, go quickly into the streets and alleys of the town and invite the poor, invite the crippled, the blind, and the lame. After the servant had done this, he reported, there is still room for more. So his master said, go out into the country lanes and behind the hedges and urge anyone you find to come so that the house will be full. For none of those I first invited will get even the smallest taste of my banquet. And this is the word of the Lord. Amen. So now, on the surface, this parable that Jesus told shows us, first of all, I think that we need to be humble. But there's a pretty deep truth in this story as well. See, what Jesus was teaching was that he had come to rescue the Israelites. And who are the Israelites? Who would we call these people? They're God's chosen people, is who we call the Israelites. We call them Jews today, but the Jewish people denied that Jesus was God. In fact, today many religious Jews will not accept that Jesus is God's son. So just like the people in the story rejected the master's invitation, so the Jews reject Jesus' invitation for salvation. But just like the master in the story, Jesus then takes that invitation and he gives it to everyone else. If the Jews don't want it, I'll just give the invitation to everyone else. And I think that's fascinating. He gives that invitation to the rest of us. He has invited you and he's invited me into this relationship with him. God has given us the invitation of a lifetime. That is the invitation to be in relationship with him. But we have to choose to respond with a yes. It can't be a maybe. It can't be, hold on, I got some other stuff I need to take care of. I'll come back to you later. It has to be a yes. It can't be a maybe or even a no. But we, like the first crowd, can make up excuses not to follow Jesus today. Can we not? I'm sure some of you right now are thinking, oh my gosh, if he asks us to pray at the end of this, I got a whole long list of excuses. I can't do that right now. I can't commit to that kind of a relationship right now. You have excuses. I have excuses too. Or you can be like the second group that he was talking about. And you can jump at the offer that Jesus gives you. So, before we pray tonight, I want to leave you with one last truth. I know that some of you here tonight probably fall into the popular crowd. Some people would label you as one of the popular kids in school. For you, maybe it isn't easy for you to see your need for Christ because you're one of the popular kids. You're one of those people who everybody look to when you have everything and everything's going great. So you think you don't have a need to be accepted by Christ. Your life is full of good things like friends and parties and invites and all other kinds of stuff. Sometimes it's hard for you to slow down and see your deep need for Jesus. And I know some of you here were like me. Some of you probably struggled severely with being accepted. Some of you probably struggled with being unpopular, actually. Maybe you feel unwanted or unknown or just unacceptable. Wherever you are with feeling accepted, I want you to know this one truth tonight. Jesus has accepted you just the way you are, popular kid. Jesus doesn't care if you feel like you're the unpopular kid. Jesus doesn't care what kind of clothes you have on. Jesus doesn't care where you live. Jesus gives you the invitation to be in relationship with him. And that invitation is for everybody. It's not just for the popular kids. It's not just for Jews. It's for all those who would believe in who he is. Jesus accepts you for who you are. So, y'all have something tonight. Should have your name on it. If you're missing one, I'll get you one before the night is over with. Okay, you all have one of those. As we go into a time of prayer, if the band wants to go up and get ready, that is handwritten by yours truly. And your name is on there, and if it ain't spelled right, we're offering forgiveness, correct? Yes, we are. So that's simply an invitation. Think of it as an invitation from Jesus. He's inviting you at this time, on this night, here in worship with your friends from your student ministry, to be in relationship with him. And the one thing that it requires from you is a response. You have to RSVP. It requires a response. So I want you to take your invitation with you if you come up for prayer. And I want you to pray about how you're going to respond. You can't respond with a maybe. And you can't respond with a no. You have to choose to stop making excuses and come into a deeper relationship with him. God's not into games. He wants a deep commitment from you, a deep relationship with you. So I pray that your response will be one of yes, and you'll move forward. Amen? Let's stand and pray together.